Isn't this cool? We're going to talk about 3 different things today. The first thing we're going to talk about is primordial space. Seen that yet? Okay. So when you look into your body, what is it mostly? Between the molecules of water and blood and anything that's there, it's space. Now, sorry, that distracted me. So, we don't realize this until we start meditating and learn how to meditate properly, and you can actually absorb yourself absorb into space. Not absorb yourself, absorb into space. Meditate on the space between every molecule and every vibration and everything that exists. In the middle of that, in the center of that, is space. We are mostly space. I know we're spacey. You knew that was coming. But we are space. That is our nature. If you were good enough at meditation that you could actually see between every molecule, you would see that there is no essential reality to your being. You are space. Why does that happen then when we look out through telescopes and things like that we see space out there? It's because of our dualistic minds and our dualistic eyes. They are trained, they are born, they are made to see duality. You can't see space with these 2 eyes. You are, how can I put it? When you turn your attention inward, there's a really good method by which to do that. And I would recommend, for instance, okay, let's see. Think of the yiddim that you're practicing on, that you're practicing yourself as. See the deity. Where is the deity? Can the deity be in the same place as you? How? Space. Because you are not full. You are empty. When we think about space, we think about selfish space. Space that we see. Space that we look at. But, you know, it's the space that we see with our meat eyes. With these eyes. And it doesn't look like space. You don't know what it is. You see things over there and things over there and things over there. But you cannot see the essential luminous space that is our true primordial nature. You would have so many less neuroses if you remembered that. there's no one here to cry and moan about. Time is empty. If you have things from the past that you cry and moan about, then guess what? They're not happening to you anymore. And they didn't happen to you in the first place. They happened in front of you. Everything about us is trained to see the world as dualistic. That's what these eyes are for. The only way you can see the truth of nature is to practice Dharma. I don't know of any other way. I'm telling you this, and it's from my meditation. I'm giving it to you directly. I know these things to be true. But I can't pass that to you directly because you need to practice. So many of my students I've had for a long time, and I realize they don't really practice. Uh-oh, what does that mean? Yeah, they don't. They just don't. They try, and when I went and asked my students, wait, I'm getting distracted. When I went and asked my students what they were practicing, none of them was practicing a yidam. They were all practicing like opening and closing prayers and, little bits of this and that. Something every day, but not a yidam practice every day. And they didn't know the difference. Yeah. So when we practice the yidam, it's only possible because we are space. When we look out, when I look out, I can see sometimes, like on the Matrix, where the cat shows up, I see little jumps in the Matrix. I know that sounds funny, but I can tell that this is space. Why is that? Because my eyes are not just two meaty balls. They are inside my nature accustomed to seeing correctly. The reason why I went on to people's practice, because most of us don't understand that we have to practice in order to get there. We think if we just listen to Mommy will just pour it out into our little open mouths, but it's not like that. Mommy says you've got to practice. You've got to meditate on the deity and then meditate on emptiness, as you were taught. And then your eyes will begin to open. Those meatballs will begin to soften up a little bit. It's hard to understand, I know. But our nature is not what we think. And if we try to learn from the outside, by being taught, we can learn some things, that's for sure. Here's the Dharma, we can learn the Dharma. And we learn knowledge. But the experience only comes through properly meditating. Why do you want the experience? Because if that's not happening, you aren't changing. You aren't becoming what you can be. You're staying the same. And that's what scares me after all these 30 years. You're staying the same. Not all of you. Some of you are really growing, but a lot of you are just staying the same. And that frightens me. I'm 69 now. There will always be teachers here. Don't worry. Assuming we get the capital campaign going. There will always be teachers here in Payul. In this place. because I give this to Payul at the end of my life. But we have to realize that this is what the teachers want from us. They want us to be able to see, to know in a wisdom way. The way that we know is ordinary. It's based on these 5 senses, which are dualistic. Did I catch that? Did you catch that the second time? Okay. So, let's see, what else do I want to tell you? Oh, what do I see? I see glimpses of other dimensions that are right here. I'm not crazy. Not that I know of. But I can see different things in the same space. And I'm not hallucinating. This is true. Where is another planet, another sun? It looks like it's out there. Oh, and then we make machines to bear out that false belief. We have made machines that right now are on Mars. How can that be if it's all mind? We made, with our dualistic eyes, the correct machines to see it that way. So there is no other way to open up and see reality other than practice. You can't go there in a spaceship. No, and they're never going to get here either. I know you people from Sedona don't believe that. Where was I? I actually forgot where I was. Oh yeah, you can't get there in a spaceship. This is it, kid. Your big opportunity. Buy your ticket here. So we are looking to go deeper, to understand our nature, to understand the nature of all that surrounds us, and to understand the primordial view, because it's not the same as what you have. Does that make any sense yet? I see a lot of crossed eyes. I know it's difficult because you don't practice. I do, for instance, I do Chime Soktik every day. And if you know that practice, when you chant the Hris, you send to and absorb from all the elements. And that's where I really look at nature in that practice. It's not looking at nature, it's not like that. Well, it's where I meditate. Once the deity dissolves completely, in my practice it says, see that there is only luminosity, primordial luminosity. And that's the level you meditate in as you dissolve the deity. And that's where I do it. Where do you do it? Probably didn't know to do it, although I've taught it many times. So this primordial stuff, primordial wisdom, primordial space is all within you. There's nowhere you can go and nothing you can do to bring it any closer. Primordial space is here now. You just don't have the eyes to see it. You will get the eyes to see it eventually after you practice. Is that the goal? To see it? No. No. The goal is to benefit sentient beings. How long, O Lord? So it's not all about seeing something or being somewhere. For the sake of sentient beings, we should meditate and awaken to the nature of reality. It's possible if only you will really sincerely try in your practice. Oh, and when you're doing it, don't try. That ruins it. Am I confusing you too much for one night? I wanted to bring this up for many reasons. One, something I'm good at, and I can talk about it. But the other reason is, I think sometimes we forget why it is that we practice. We forget that we want to attain something, that we want to grow. We forget that we want to purify something. We forget that we want to open up. We forget all these things and we just sit down and try to do some practice. But it's hard to stay truthful and aware of your practice if you're not mindful of the point. So the point is to benefit sentient beings, which you are not able to do unless you can see purely and clearly. Well, that's not entirely true. Lots of people help others, but I mean in a more profound way. You know, doctors and nurses and all of you that have robes on, I'm sure, try to help sentient beings in your practice, right? So, anyway, that's all I want to say about that. Any questions? Oh, no, I wasn't going to go there. You must think I'm crazy. After a session like that, do you think I'm going to take... No. You go home and think about it.